Gillian considers this fun, but she seems to forget that I have an incredible fear of heights. Here we go. Woohoo! You're gonna wanna get here pretty early in the morning because the lineup and the tour groups were just bonkers.
Wow, it's just amazing up here.
This is wonderful in here. This is my new favorite restaurant in the world.
Let's be honest, Brasov is a little on the small side. You can definitely see all the main sites within a single day.
In fact, we're covering off one of the main sites right now. We're here in the heart of Old Town, the Council Square, and having now visited a number of European cities, I think that this square is a pretty nice example. It's been very well preserved.
Now, you might be wondering why we decided to stay in such a small place for a whole month. Oh, and by the way, site number 2 is just over there. It's the Black Church, a medieval church in the Gothic style, and it's really quite striking.
It really wasn't that easy to put together our plan for Romania. I mean, there are just so many wonderful sites to visit that we even considered doing a road trip.
But spending just a few nights in each place, week after week, sounded a little exhausting.
Instead, we decided to base ourselves right here in the city of Brasov, and we're so glad that we did. Okay, wait, let's check this out. This is supposed to be one of the narrowest streets in all of Europe. Certainly it's the narrowest street in Romania. I think it was built for firefighters so that they could get from one part of the neighborhood to another. And now it's kind of a free-for-all for graffiti, but quite a nice photo op, I would say. So I think this whole passageway is normally just full of people during peak time of day, but we're here pretty early, so we have it all to ourselves.
We've been able to see the sites that Transylvania is so famous for, the castles, the villages, the mountains.
And we also stayed in a really comfortable Airbnb with what I can only describe as a truly spectacular view. Isn't this view so incredible? I think you can basically see the whole city of Brasov from right here.
With the month winding down, we wanted to share our usual highlights reel with you guys. We're covering all the fun stuff we did, where we stayed, what we ate.
And of course, we're also gonna share how much it all cost. And I can tell you that that lovely apartment we stayed in came with an equally lovely price. And our tour of Old Town continues. So we've reached another of the major historic sites. This is Catherine's Gate, and I believe it dates back to the 16th century, and it was probably the primary way to get in and out of the city. And today it's just this beautiful historic building, and I think what's very notable about it are the turrets at the top, so it has a real medieval look. Well, we're just ticking through the sites. So we're now walking along, I guess, the outer walls of the city. There's a lovely canal here, and it's a really picturesque spot. We're making our way to another major site. And what we've discovered about touring around in Central Europe is wherever you have a hill and a good defensive position, you're almost always going to have some kind of fortification up there. So that's what we're heading to next. If you ever want to have a really amazing icebreaker with the locals, then what you should definitely do is travel everywhere in the world with a dog, and everyone will come up to you and make a conversation, whether you understand it or not. One of the things that we really love about living in Brasov is that we're always just a few steps away from some beautiful parkland. Here we are at the Black Tower, and this is where we come when we want to soak in an absolutely beautiful view of Brasov. Wow, it's so amazing up here in the morning light. Just look at it. Brasov is really one of the most beautiful cities that we've been to. I just love the way we've got this compact old town, and then the whole thing is ringed by these gorgeous green mountains. It's really quite spectacular.
By the way, if you're brand new to our channel, never seen us before, we'll do some quick intros.
So I'm Stephanie, this is Gillian, we've got little Jasper and Huxley down there.
We travel the world full time and share it with all of you as we go. Good morning, everyone. It is 6 a.m. and we have woken up bright and early for one specific reason, and that's to climb all the way up to the top of Mount Tampa. Now, it has been very hot for the past week, so we wanted to get up and beat the heat and beat the crowds and be maybe the first ones up there. So hopefully within an hour or two, we should be waving at you from the Brasov sign.
Now, it is possible to take a cable car all the way up, and I think this is where you pick up that cable car. But we just spent the week hiking all the way through Transylvania, so I think we kind of have an imperative to hike our way up there. The only thing we need to figure out is what is the right path to take up, but hopefully there's a sign here.
It's looking nice and green here already. Go on, Hux.
There we go, buddy. Whew, a lot of back and forth on this trail. This has got to be the world's tiniest, safest via ferrata I've ever seen. It's nice they have it here though. Here we go, guys.
Well, that was a solid 45 minutes of serpentining our way up to the top without even having a cup of coffee first. But it feels pretty good to most likely be the first ones here in the morning, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be rewarded by an amazing view. And here we're passing right behind that big Brasov sign. Wow, it's just amazing up here. I mean, from here, we're not only getting the views over Brasov, but the whole region and the mountains into the distance. Just gorgeous.
Now here's the part we sort of forgot about. Now we have to walk all the way back down. One thing that Romania does really well are beautiful castles in scenic locations, and that's what we're here for today. We've come an hour outside of Brasov to see not one, but two beautiful castles that are basically right on top of each other. I am kicking things off with a look at Peles Castle right over here, and it's looking very regal indeed. So this was built back in the 19th century when Romania got its very first king and when it became an independent state, and I'm very excited to get inside. Well, that was just wonderful. So this is not an empty castle. This castle is filled with all sorts of lavish furnishings, and it's just a beautiful place to explore. Now, a few pro tips for you. There are 3 floors to the castle, and you have to pay to go to each floor. And we just paid for the first floor, and actually there was quite a lot there. I mean, it's all of the formal staterooms, and they are so ornate and just so ostentatious. They're wonderful to walk around in. Now, the other pro tip is you're going to want to get here pretty early in the morning, and I would strongly recommend buying your tickets online in advance because the lineup and the tour groups were just bonkers.
All right, now I'm heading over to castle number 2. So Peles Castle, which you just saw, was for King Carol, and Pelisor Castle was built for his nephew, who was next in line for the throne. I guess the king wanted to keep a very close eye on him because the 2 castles are practically side by side. Well, that was quite a treat. Compared to Peles Castle, it's a little more modest, if that can be said about a castle. It had lots of Art Nouveau touches, which is my absolute favorite. I mean, I could definitely make a home there, no problem at all. And the lack of crowds certainly made it a much more enjoyable visiting experience. So if you make the trip out here, I would recommend taking the time to see both because they really are quite different.
Since we are in Transylvania, we kind of had to sort of come to Bran Castle, which is supposed to be Dracula's castle. It really is one of the most popular sites in all of Romania. But we also knew that we didn't want to spend hours in a lineup just to be elbow to elbow with other tourists shuffling through the castle. So instead, we decided to drink in the views from outside. So that's it. It's Bran Castle right behind me. It looks really spectacular, and I think that's good enough for us.
Once you've seen a few castles, really the best thing to do here is to go on an amazing hike. So we've come to the ski resort Poiana Brasov, and we're about to go to the top of the mountain, but first we have some very important business to attend to.
I told Gillian that there is no way I'm doing a big hike today unless I get a nice big lunch, so that's what we're here for. Wow, look at this place. This is wonderful in here. This is my new favorite restaurant in the world. One of the things that I really love about Romanian cuisine is that you are basically guaranteed soup with every meal, and that is no matter how hot the temperature is. Soup seems to be a really big part of the food culture here. We have ordered what smells like an absolutely delicious chicken soup, and this one comes with homemade noodles. All right. Yes, I love chicken soup. This is an amazing example. This is exactly what I would want if I was at home with a cold. It's so nurturing, piping hot and delicious, absolutely amazing. So our second course has arrived, but before we get into it, I just wanted to make sure that you guys are enjoying the music here as much as I am. We're actually right below the speakers, so we're really getting the full effect of it. Anyway, we have this wonderful vegetable dish here. We were a little worried that we might encounter too many heavy meat dishes coming here to Romania, and there is a lot of meat on the menu, but there are also really interesting vegetable dishes, and this one is a mushroom stew, so it looks like it's in quite a savory gravy here, and I can see some peppers and tomatoes and onions. So it's a really full-looking stew, and then we have this wonderful scoop of polenta beside it, which is always the perfect side when you have a nice rich stew. So I'll give it a try. It's great. It's got a nice rich flavor. It is very savory, very tomatoey, and it's very robust because, as I said, it's not just mushrooms. There are a lot of other vegetables in here, and it looks like it's going to really power us through for the rest of our afternoon. Ooh, wow. When we were first researching coming to Romania and having this trip, I kept seeing photos of this dessert everywhere we looked, and I honestly think that I wanted to come to Romania just to try this. This is called a papanash, and it is basically a beautiful fresh-made donut. So it's got this base that's a large donut, and then another smaller donut on the top, and then it has this beautiful sour cream all over it, and then a beautiful fruit compote on top, and it looks so gorgeous. I can't wait to try it. I've been so excited about this. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to get at it without totally destroying it, but just have to start somewhere. Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful. Just collapsed right away. Let's see. It's so good. It's just a mouthful of bliss. The donut is hot, and then the sour cream combined with the, the tart sweet fruit. It is exactly what I hoped it would be. It's so delicious. So if you come to Romania, order this right away.
Well, that was an amazing meal, but now comes the really fun part. We could hike our way up to the top, but instead we're going to take the cable car and then hike our way all the way back to Brasov, which should be a pretty solid afternoon of hiking.
Bună ziua! 2 people just going up. Okay. Got our tickets right here. Looks like the ski hills are pretty fun for cyclists in the summer season.
Gillian considers this fun, but she seems to forget that I have an incredible fear of heights. I'm usually quite terrified in these things. We'll see how it goes. Here we go. We'll just sit very far away from the doors in case there's some problem and they don't close and we fall out.
Stephanie, you ready? We're about to take off.
Ooh. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's really picking up speed.
Yes.
We've been in a number of cable cars, and some of them had quite a tremendous height from the ground. I think this one is higher than I want to be, but still at a reasonable level. So the trick is, don't look down and hold on really tight to your poodle. And I think if I can just do those things, we can get through this okay.
I mean, you really can't beat the view from up here.
I'm just waiting for it to be over.
Self-soothing?
I'm self-soothing while I wait for it to be over. Okay, I have to emotionally prepare for the dismount. Everyone hold on. Does it
It's
pop
gonna
open?
open.
Okay, and then we just like rush out?
Just take your time. Just slowly make your way.
Okay, while it's still moving like this.
Yep.
Woo! And it's over. Thank goodness.
Well, I thought that was pretty fun, but now it's time for us to hit the trail. I've got the map right here. We have a gorgeous day, a much better temperature than we've had for the last week or so. It's the perfect timing, and about 11 kilometers ahead of us till we get to Brasov.
Now it's time to take a look at our Airbnb, and this time we didn't rent a place that was right in the center of town. We're actually way up in the hills. We normally prefer the convenience of being right in the center of town, but this time the place that we really liked just happened to be up a very steep hill. In fact, those are the hills right up there. Over the course of the month, we've discovered that there are both pluses and minuses to our location way up in the hills. So on the minus side, whenever we want to go anywhere at all, if we need anything, a loaf of bread, we want to go through the old town, we want to go out for dinner, we have a big walk down, and then we have an even bigger walk back up. On the plus side, this is basically an Airbnb with a built-in exercise plan. So if you're looking to get in shape, I would say come to Brasov, rent this Airbnb, and then just do this walk every single day. Okay, here comes the big push. Come on, buddy, we can do it. And another plus, when we get to the top, when we get to our Airbnb, you're gonna see what makes it all worthwhile. And we made it. No worse for wear, but definitely a little out of breath. All right, let's take a look. So here we are, and we have just loved this apartment. It's just so spacious and so bright, and I think that the owners did a really nice job with the decorating. It was definitely the most charming place that we saw on Airbnb. The kitchen is a little on the cramped side. I mean, it does have basically most of what we needed to cook meals, but there really wasn't room in here for two of us at the same time. We did try to cook meals together, but those ended in some light disagreements, I'll say. And the design of the space is a little odd, so you have to close the kitchen door if you want to get at the fridge, which is way back here. The bedroom is fine. I mean, it's nothing special design-wise, but it does have a very comfortable bed, and in the end, that's what's most important. Of course, the real reason that we were so excited to rent this place is what's going on out here. Isn't this view so incredible? I think you can basically see the whole city of Brasov from right here. So really, I know it's a lot of work to get up and down that hill, but honestly, it's like living in a park here. It's just so beautiful.
All right, a month in Brasov. Let's talk costs.
Okay, for entertainment, I would say that Brasov is very much a create your own adventure type of destination.
Yeah, I mean, once you've toured the main sites, there's really not that much going on in town, so you really need to head out of town if you want to make the most of this location.
Yeah, so that could be a hiking trip. It could be a visit to Peles Castle. It could be going to the beautiful little town of Sigishwara.
There's also the Seven Ladders Canyon, which was a solo mission for me because there's really zero chance of me getting Stephanie up on a zip line.
Yeah, she is not wrong about that.
So some of these activities have a fee to enter, but others are free, except of course for your transportation to get there.
So we ended up spending a total of $80 on entertainment and then another $110 on our transportation. And that covered off a couple bus rides, some cabs.
We also had a car rental for a few days too.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the next category, dining dining out, and we really didn't hold back this month.
We certainly did not. There are a number of very excellent restaurants right here in the Old Town.
Now, they did tend to be a little on the pricey side for Romania, but it still cost a lot less than dining out in the other cities we visited this summer.
So we went out for a nice meal, I would say every couple of days, and it was usually around 25 US. So in total, we spent $335 on dining out and then another $500 on our groceries.
Finally, our Airbnb.
Okay, so if you guys have been following our videos this summer, you'll know that we've been spending quite a lot on our accommodations.
The Airbnb inflation has been very real.
Yeah, so to the point where we actually spent more on our month in Budapest than we have spent in any other city during the past 4 years of travel.
And I mean, that apartment was fine, but it certainly wasn't luxurious.
No, yeah, it wasn't luxurious at all. Okay, so for this apartment here in Brasov, we're here during the peak summer season. We spent a total of $825 for the whole month.
Which is just amazing.
Yeah.
It really helps make up for the ridiculous price we paid in Budapest and pretty much everywhere else this summer.
And that brings us to our total for our month here in Brasov. All in all, we spent just $1,850 US, which is really not very much at all.
No, it's pretty incredible. It actually makes Brasov one of our lowest cost destinations, on par with what we paid in Belgrade or Tirana.
Yeah, and Brasov really does hold up as a destination, even though it's so small.
That's right. In fact, what we've shared with you in this video is really just a small sample of what you can get up to in Transylvania.
So we actually spent a week hiking through the region, and it was a totally unforgettable cultural experience. Well, it's amazing for such a tiny town. I mean, I think it's literally one street. We managed to get slightly lost. All right, it is breakfast time. I'm gonna say that I'll probably not dive into these raw onions as a kindness to Gillian.
Alley-oop.
Oh, this does not look like the natural entry.
Okay, not the easiest.
Oh my gosh, it's the bathroom.